Hey, hello, good evening, good Monday to you. How the heck are you? I am your friendly, humble host, Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, and welcome back to it, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see you. I hope you had an absolutely fantastic weekend, a very relaxing and calming one, and it was better than I had any right to enjoy, but in the overall, it wasn't bad. And I hope yours was equally awesome. So we've got some stuff to get down to and talk about tonight. Some stuff coming up this week, of course. Tonight is just kind of Open Mind Monday. We're going to look at some more of the massive show donation that we got from Volcano God. Why am I so crappy? I'm not I see what you did there. So we're going to talk some more about the haul, and we haven't talked about arts and crafts for a really long time because I haven't had time to paint. And a couple of jumps back at Gods and Monsters, I picked up, hello, Eloise. I picked up some Army Painter speed paint set, their starter speed paint set. And we're going to talk about that a little bit because I've actually finally got a chance to use it. And I don't know if that's really going to be, something that I'm too happy about, but we'll see. Eloise asks, is that a real crab? It's real insofar that it exists in a three-dimensional space and experiences weak electron force in that it will not pass through another object. But no, it is not a genuine crab. One of my favorite modules to run is S2 White Plume Mountain. It embodies so much that's wonderful about Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I can't even begin. I mean, we've done a deep dive on that module before, and I've talked about all the wonderful things in it. Well, there is a fight, the Beast in the Boiling Bubble. It's in this kind of rubbery, force fieldy, surface tension bubble that's under a volcanic lake. And the water is super hot, and you're many hundreds of feet underneath the water, and so on. And if you do something like try and fireball it or lightning bolt or whatever, it'll burst the force field and everybody dies, like practically instantly. Well, nobody in the miniature world, and I didn't have a 3D printer at this time, but nobody in the miniature world made an affordable and awesome looking crab miniature, something I thought that really fit. So while I was casting about on Amazon, it's looking at, crab, plastic crab, model crab. I saw this guy here, and he was only like $7 dues. So I ordered him up, and he's kind of the unofficial, occasional mascot of the show, and we like him. So yeah, that's why the crab. The guy in the pic to my right. Oh, okay. So I did some cleaning up. That is Asian film star. Well, he's a real global film star. Chow Yun Fat. And let me tell you something. If action movies are something you enjoy and you don't know who this guy is, go check out A Better Tomorrow and Hard Boiled. And he stars with, I think it's Mira Sorvino. I could be wrong about that. In The Replacement Killer. So the guy's just awesome. but definitely see Hard Boiled and A Better Tomorrow if you really, really want to see some amazing action stuff. Once a Thief is okay. It's almost more of a Tony Leung piece than it is Chow Yun Fat. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, trust me, if you watch John Woo's mid to late 1980s oeuvre from Hong Kong, by the end of it, you'll know who I'm talking about. So, heartily recommend anything with Chow Yun Fat in it. Bulletproof Monk is okay. His parts are really good, but it's another guy's movie. Replacement Killers, as I said. Anna and the King is all right. It's basically The King and I without music. He really gets to show off some chops. A Bullet in the Head. If you want to see like a combination of Apocalypse Now and The Deer Hunter, but shown from the side of the Vietnamese and the Chinese, with like triad crime lords and stuff thrown into the mix, and you got 3 hours to kill, A Bullet in the Head is good. Heroes Shed No Tears is another good one. But yeah, no, that's, and the thing of it is, my wife's mother worked at a pre-press company, and that's actually a blown up picture that was going out in a film magazine that they were working on, and they did some oversized proofs for the magazine company, and they were elated with them. But she was like, "Oh, I think Bill likes John Woo movies," and so she got me that poster a while ago. Mr. Woo has aged some, as we all have, since the time that was taken. But yeah, I just thought that was just too cool of a poster. You know, he's just very calm, very polite, you know. So that's why I got John Woo over there. Chow Yun Fat over there, who's been in many John Woo movies. So that's the deal with that. And we got a lot of stuff to go into. You know, I'm not gonna hem and haw and and ah. I'm just Chow Yun Fat in his late 60s. No, Chow Yun Fat is not in his late 60s. Is he? No, 1955. So he's 15 years older than me. He's 6. Oh my Lord. Well, he doesn't look it. He's a very fit and trim looking late 60s guy. But anyway, to move on. So this week, of course, tomorrow night, we are playing first edition AD&D live. We will be streaming AD&D live for your enjoyment here. Gonna have some miniatures out, some terrain and that sort of thing. I've got so much work to do to make that happen. Oh Lord. But anyway, so we're gonna be doing that. Wednesday, we're playing Traveler. Co-host Kyle Schuant will be running our weekly traveling traveler game. That will be in effect. Thursday, we're just going to kick back and relax and repose and do some more unboxing on Thursday. Then Friday, a little bit more of that, a little bit more loosey-goosey, open discussion stuff. But on the back half, back to Gamma World. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hail and well met, Lord Corian. It's good to see it. Now, I do want to point out a couple of show mechanic related things. If you're just stopping by, like if YouTube just kind of kicked me up in your field of view there and you get a snapshot off, please click that subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications. It really, really, really does help around here. when you subscribe. And if you're one of the like 70 people that subscribe between Tuesday and now, welcome. Thank you so much. Put the good word out there. If you like what you see, you know, tell your friends, hey, this guy's got a heck of a classic tabletop RPG discussion channel, RPG hobby channel. You should go check it out because he's on 5 nights a week, 3 nights of live stream gaming. So please consider doing that, because think about it. If each one of you guys told 5 friends, that'd be 300 new subs on the channel, just like that. And that would be fantastic. And if anyone, old or new, wishes to support the channel, of course, we're on Patreon, we're on Subscribestar, and I only did this because I had a couple of people ask. You can also donate straight to the show on PayPal. That's the grift is high. I know that, but there you go. That's just because people ask. And finally, if you'd like to come join us on Discord. If you'd like to join us, then here is the link. You can do that. Yes, we have a Discord. So you can just copy pasta that link and come and say hi to us. We have a pretty good time. You can yell at me about things I said on the show directly, and I'll probably answer you. And you make jokes and memes and talk about D&D and just whatever comes to your mind when you're not sitting here watching the show, which again is 5 nights a week. I get it, but we're a whole multimedia experience around these parts. And I do this for you guys. I do it for you guys. So, l'chaim. So anyway, let's talk then about some more of this stuff we've got. And I want to start with something that's been sitting here. It's fairly simple and it's fairly easy. It's not rare, but it's unique. So what I have here as part of the haul, and this is all from Volcano God, and this won't make any sense to you guys. I may actually have to bring up Rocket number 9 there and put it on Still Store to quote Joel Hodgson, Mystery Science Theater 3000. What I have in these 2 navy colored volumes is he sent to Lulu the OD&D rules and supplements. You know what? Yeah, let's get that going. Let's get the camera up here and I'll show that to you. Tabletop. There we go. So this is OD&D and supplements. And yes, this is Gary, not Gary Gygax. I think he was just kind of testing it out. As little hardbacks. Isn't that cool? Little hardback copies of the OD&D rules. And so here's the supplements. And it's, there's, whoa, that was overwhelming. But there you go. I think that's supplement 2. Or no, that's supplement 3 because I see psionics mentioned. And yeah, he just had these printed up. Which you can do this with your own PDFs, right? This is not some yo ho ho raise the black flag piracy thing. This is something you can actually you can get OD&D printed up just like this, and this is the core rules right here. So these are nice. This is like a cloth cover. This is really well done. Now, I said he got this done at Lulu. I don't know for sure that it was at Lulu. He might have went to another print service, Printivity or something. I should start doing that. I may do that. John David. I might. Once I have the okay from him, because again, a lot of this is his stuff, and I feel like I am just caretaking it until he decides final disposition. A bunch of it, he's just like, it's yours. It's yours to do what you want with. Just split the profits with me. So, DM's Guild will hardbound with. Yes, you can get most of the like the OD&D, AD&D books, and they do the premium covers on a bunch of them that got premium covers when they did the reprints from like 2014 to 2017. I mean, they released the 3 core all in 2014, but then there was Unearthed Arcana later. There were the Secrets of the Slaver's Stockade. The Slavers, A1 to A4 in a single volume, S1 to S4 in a single volume. And then I think Monster Manual 2 and Fiend Folio. And then soft backbound to go along with this. And I'm not crazy about this. This is Chainmail and Swords and Spells. But if you notice, when I flipped it like that, so this is actually a flip book. So if you want to use or play Chainmail up to a certain point, when you get to the back here. So yeah, up to here, it's just blank pages. But then when you get over into Swords and Spells, God, so many blank pages. It's the back of the book and it's upside down. So to use Swords and Spells, you gotta go over and flip it upside down. So it's both volumes, but they're upside down. Thank you. I do try. I'm just a very humble man. But anyway, so those are neat. Like I said, unique, but not rare. These things abound, as it were. So I'll probably shelve. I don't know. These may be the first volumes that I put in the free little library. Because remember my plan. I discussed it last year. Or maybe it was late in the winter of this year. I'm going to start getting OD&D books and AD&D books printed through Lulu because it's cheaper to do it that way, and just start hitting the free little library kiosks and sticking them in there and dropping off a few at used bookstores and a few at the library. So that's very cool. And as I lean over here, I pick up some other stuff, some other interesting rarities. I got this bad boy. This is not D&D related. I'm going to switch back to the long range. There we go. I got this bad boy. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness. Now, this was a Palladium release back in the day. And, of course, now TMNT is a cultural thing, but it was an underground comic book. It was popular, but this was kind of an underground comic book, really. Like, people, I see like 5-year-olds with TMNT shirts and stuff and that's fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not about to go off on some, it's for grown-ups rant. But when TMNT hit, it was tongue in cheek, and it was meant kind of as parody of what Frank Miller had done with Ronin at DC, but it was also very gory, super violent, and foul language. It was an an indie comic, and the same company that published Archie comics ended up buying it from Laird and Eastman. But before that happened, they licensed it for a while as an RPG. Here, I'm going to bring this up on the screen again. Let's go to tabletop. They licensed it as an RPG to Palladium, and the late Eric Wujcik and I know I'm murdering that, did the first volume, and they released some others, but this actually fell out of print because they couldn't really afford the license anymore. So John David knows exactly what I'm talking about. They turned them into plush toys, but like this has got an Eastman and Laird comic in the middle of the book. That is only available in this book. So yeah, this is a little rarity from the set. So that's pretty interesting. If you guys are interested, we'll do a deep dive on the TMNT role-playing game. So we can definitely dig into that. What else do we have? Let's see. Surprise back in the 80s when I bought a coverless TPB of number 2, was used to the card nest. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Oh, this is actually going to be going up for sale pretty quickly. This is not a drive-through RPG print. This is an actual store-bought Temple of Elemental Evil, which I'm going to do a deep dive on T1, but not this guy. I've talked about Temple in the giant box set of this that I've got. But yeah, this is complete. It's got the map folio in the back and everything. So yeah, Temple of Elemental Evil right there. T1 to 4. The good parts written by Gary, the not so good parts written by Frank. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because positivity. All right. This is a drive-through RPG print, and I just want to point that I'm bringing this up. I don't think we're gonna deep dive on Hollow World, no pun intended, unless people are super duper super interested in hearing me do that. But this is good because this shows off what you can do with DTRPG prints and the quality that you get. And this is actually pretty good. You know, this was a I think this was a hardback book, or maybe even a box set from TSR back in the day, and the print quality is really good. If I didn't know anything about drive-through, if I didn't know they were doing these kind of prints, here, let me bring this up. I wouldn't think that that this was anything other than a legitimate book. The pages are crispy, the text is clear, it doesn't smudge. This is a nice one. So if you're like, should I get my books in pod from drive-through or from Lulu or wherever? Yes, these are good sturdy play copy. And it's not going to last forever. It's not a TSR hardback from back in the day, but you know, it's a good play copy. But if it gets a little creased, if it gets a little beaten up, you haven't lost the world, you know? Yeah, Cinnabar is a Hollow World. Cinnabar is a lot of things. So yeah, so we still got some TSR goodies to come up, and some of them again maybe print on demand and what have you. But anyway, to continue, and speaking of reprinted stuff, I thought this was cool. What I'm about to show you right here is a perfect example of a company getting with another company about IP that they no longer own, and yet being able to come together and get things right. So many game companies could learn from what Fantasy Flight did. And this, again, I'm going to show you guys. This is the Star Wars, the role-playing game 30th anniversary set that you can still get. I think you can still get this at some retailers, but this is the 2 core rule books. the 2 core rule books of the old WEG D6 Star Wars RPG. And it's everything you need to play. And it runs about $70, which sounds expensive, but that's $35 a book. And $35 for a hardback book is entirely within the realm of acceptability, in my opinion. So you get these 2 lovely reproductions of the books. And, this is Star Wars, and this is released at a time. Now, we can be here till dawn arguing the merits of whatever you think of the current Star Wars universe. I don't like it, but there we are. But regardless of that, it's still a moneymaker. It's still a hot property, okay? This is not some small press RPG that 2 guys created in the 70s and 4 guys at this company in the 2000s want to re-release it. So, hey, we were able to come together. I mean, Star Wars is huge. And I still wonder how Wizards of the Coast lost that license or just gave it up. I mean, but regardless of that, Fantasy Flight went to the guys who still held on to the IP rights and said, hey, do you guys mind if we do a deluxe set? And there's nothing cut out. There's no replacement art. This is 1 for 1. And I think that is wonderful. I think that's wonderful. I sympathize with the Luther. I just pretend there are 3 Star Wars movies and go on about my business. So what else do we have? I have other stuff down here, and I want to leave time to talk about the painting situation because I haven't talked about arts and crafts in a long time, and I want to do that. Okay, I want to do that. But I do want to talk about some of these other boxes. Speaking of reprints and reproductions, that sounds like the name of an RPG itself, reprints and reproductions. So I got to pick this stuff up first so I don't kill myself. Excuse me, YouTube, so I don't unalive myself accidentally. I want to get caught by that algorithm. All right, so there's that. So the first box we got, this is the Ogre Bundle. And I think this is basically what the click case games for Ogre. Remember when I showed you the plastic click case boxes for Ogre? This is what they came in, right? Like if you got the Ogre Bundle, this is what you got. And it contains Ogre, Gev, Battlesuit, Shockwave, Ogre Reinforcement, 4 Ogre pocket folders, 2 empty pocket boxes. So you got all the plastic boxes that I showed you, but also they sent you spare plastic boxes, and I think this is organized not as the contents say. But yeah, there's some of the plastic boxes. And here is Shockwave and Ogre and GEV expansion set. Here is the Ogre Reinforcement Pack. I feel like I'm on Home Shopping Network in the 90s, you know? Like I should have this pretty blonde and a blue casual business suit. Like, oh my gosh, really all of that. And for just 19 more minutes, folks. 19 more minutes. So we have these other, let's see. Yeah, these are the folders. These are basically like school folders, but for Ogre with classic Ogre artwork on them. So these are actual folders like you would keep notes and magazine clippings from the Space Gamer and Fantasy Gamer in and that sort of thing. So you got all of this stuff there in the box. So I'll just put this all back in here. But I think this is kind of a mismatch of stuff that that Volcano God had decided to store in here. But it is indicative of what is to come. So, you know, that's the box that the Ogre Bundle came in. A lovely shade of pink. A lovely shade of pink. Viking Hat knows what time it is. And we have another one. This is Illuminati. Illuminati confirmed. This is Illuminati. Yes, thank you, Eloise. Please do click the like button if you like what you see. Hey, you know what? If you don't like what you see, click the dislike button. But I ask that you do this. If you dislike it, tell me why in the comments. Tell me why. Tell me what you want to see that's different. You know? If you're like, that potato head guy with the skullet and the receding hairline and the nasal voice and a nose like a ski slope and those dirty, disheveled bookshelves behind him, could you get rid of that? I did say, tell me what we can do, but anyway, so yeah, this is ostensibly this would contain Illuminati, the 3 expansion sets, 2 Illuminati pocket folders, and an empty pocket box. But again, Volcano God has Pepto-Bismol color. Again, and I don't blame him. I mean, I'd be like a kid on Christmas morning, you know, when he got this Kickstarter all in. I remember him telling me about it, and it was kind of a shame that we didn't until he was ready to move. We didn't really get to dig into this stuff. But yeah, so we have Car Wars expansion set is in here. Car Wars expansion set, the AADA vehicle guide counters. I don't remember seeing this stuff. It's so weird that this stuff is so desirable. I remember seeing this in Enterprise 1701 all throughout the 1980s. I simply assumed, like all things, that you'd always be able to get it. Then I started saying, you know, I'd like to play old classic Car Wars, not the big giant GURPS-based role-playing game. Let me go on this thing called eBay back in the early 90s. And even then it was like, yeah, I got a Car Wars click case. It's missing about half the counters. There's no dice. The case doesn't stay snapped shut anymore. $100. Yikes. So, but here we are. You can get this from SJG now. Not in the big money saving bundles. You got to buy it separately, but they're creating this stuff again. Here's Car Wars East Midville. I just remember all this stuff. East Midville Double Arena Expansion Set number 1. So many goodies in this box. Armadillo Auto Duel Arena. And there is some Illuminati stuff in here. All the way at the bottom, the Illuminati folders. And then there's more empty click cases, which, let's be honest, these are VHS boxes. You know, one thing that, and I personally think this was smart. I might not like Steve Jackson games. You know, I may not be my bestest buddies in the world or anything like that, but I thought this was very smart. Luther, we'll see you when you get back. They made a point to make the replacement click cases and everything very like the originals, but not exact copies, because they didn't want people buying into the Kickstarter and then turning around and flipping them on eBay is like, ooh, vintage. This is from the 70s, blah, blah, blah. And I appreciate that. I do appreciate it a lot. I would never, I plan on running off some hardback copies of Deities and Demigods, unexpurgated Deities and Demigods. I would never sell that on eBay as an original. Like, even if I got it exactly perfect copy, I would not sell that on eBay as an original. I would sell someone one, but I would point out, I'm like, look, this is a repro. But there are people a lot less ethical in this world who would do it without thinking. Like, it would just be second nature to them. Yeah, that's the real thing. $200, and SJG got them covered, at least with their own stuff. So, inadvertent sudden Sean Connery do it ice crunching. Show, let us see what's in the next box. Your attack was too slow, Highlander. No better than that of a clumsy child. So we have Car Wars Bundle 1. Which I don't think is Car Wars. If this is Car Wars, I'll eat my hat. Have you guys see me when I stand up? I can eat a hat. All right. All right, so what do we got in here? I think this is all Car Wars stuff. Oh, sorry, I didn't even show this to you guys. Car Wars Bundle 1. I think this is all Car Wars stuff because what I see in here, if you're not familiar with Car Wars, so the premise of Car Wars is basically things are about like they are in the first Mad Max movie. It's not like The Road Warrior or Beyond Thunderdome or Fury Road. They're like they are in the first. There's a little bit of civilization, but the highways between cities, those are free fire zones. So when Car Wars hit, and it hit big, right? It seemed to tie into that nihilistic late 70s, early 80s. Peak oil has come. We're slowly running out of gas. We're running out of everything. 3 Days of the Condor, Mad Max, this real feeling of impending doom and destruction. And isn't it wonderful that things aren't like that anymore? Anyway, it really resonated with people. A lot of near apocalypse, and post-apocalypse games were really resonant and really popular. So Car Wars was a big success, and SJG not rested on their laurels and released a crap ton of supplements for Car Wars. It was their OD&D moment. And so you had stuff like Uncle Albert's catalogs of new weapons and new cars and mods for cars and rules variations. Here's an expansion set with more, here, I'm going to bring this up because this actually merits seeing up close-ish. So you had, the expansion sets, Uncle Albert's gunnery shop. These were your monster manuals and your dungeon modules for Car Wars. Here's a module. They called it a programmed Car Wars adventure for 1 to 6 players, but it's an adventure module for Car Wars, and you treat your drivers like characters. And here's the AADA vehicle guide, which again, monster manual, right? Thank you, Jack. 3 Days of the Condor. Anybody who thinks The what's happening now happened like that. Go watch 3 Days of the Do me a favor. This is your homework. This is your homework, everyone. Between now and we'll say the end of the year, I want you to watch 3 Days of the Condor and Network. And if you're completely black-pilled by the end of those, watch The Parallax View. We'll talk about it later. Here's another Uncle Albert's. Auto Duel Quarterly. Yes, there are ADQs scattered through here, which was the Dragon magazine for the Auto Duel, or for the set. Oh my God. No, I got you, Jack. So let's see. Some more Uncle Alberts, and then there's some stuff in here. This is actually this ought to be a kick in the head for Kyle, because there is GURPS stuff in here. There's GURPS in them there boxes. Now, Lord Corion, you've all had a fun summer. So we have, Kyle, pay attention. We have GURPS Auto Duel Crossover, Zombie Town, USA. GURPS Auto Duel Role-Playing in the World of Car Wars. Car Wars Arena Book, which is, it's not really... Car Wars Expansion Set 7 Off-Road Dueling. And what I think the rest of this is just nope. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Auto Duel Champions. Car Wars and Hero System crossover, guys. Car Wars and Hero System. And you guys got to let us know in the Discord or in the comments if y'all want deep dives on any or all or some or none of this stuff. Let us know. I got material for decades. Chopper Challenge. So if you want helicopter gunships in your Car Wars. And I think the rest of this is just folders, but we're going to find out. Yeah, I think we're just hitting pure folders at this point. Let me come in one day and just start my show off with an impression of Peter Finch's Howard Beale when he has his initial breakdown on the air, just to have a little bit of fun. Fun. Oh Lord, stuff sliding everywhere. Yeah, so we got some. These are just Car Wars and folders and stuff like that. So there's a ton of Steve Jackson stuff we can deep dive on, guys, if y'all want it. Car Wars and Hero System, wasn't that just the 80s cartoon mask? I don't know. I was kind of out of cartoons by that point. I would have rather spent an evening playing on my computer, on my VIC-20 computer, or Commodore 64. I missed out on a lot of cartoons. On purpose. There was no like push to keep me away from them or anything. But there we have it. 3 boxes of massive boxes of stuff from SJG, bundles and whatnot. And all of this for the trawling through, the going over, the figuring out what is what. I gotta organize this box better. I don't want to damage the contents. Let me put this over here. Now, fellas and fellettes, to quote the man, That's a lot of stuff, and I ain't kidding you. I ain't kidding you. And we've just scratched the surface. I mean, if I ignore the stacks of 5th edition stuff, we've still got such a long time of stuff, such a long list, rather, of stuff to go through. So we ain't done by far. Now, that was the pleasant. I'll spend the last little bit on the unpleasant. Not the unpleasant me being ranty, just very disappointed. Just very kind of down about this. As you guys may remember, let me see if I can find this without causing a stir, without causing a fuss. As you may remember, because I was talking about it 20 minutes ago, I got the Army Painter speed paints. Because, hey, knock out a whole army in a couple of hours, right? Knock out a whole army in a couple of hours. And just like they show where the paint sinks into the crevices and it thins out on the highlights and you get wonderful auto-shaded paints, everything's going to be awesome. One coat and done, right?
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up.
Yeah, about that. First of all, let me say this is not sponsored by Army Painter. They didn't send me these paints for free. I did get these paints for free from a friend from Gods and Monsters. Let's say it, from Gods and Monsters. And I generally like Army Painter paints. I've got some Army Painter paints already, and I think they're fine colors. I think their colors pop, and they're very nice. Let me show you guys something. I feel like Tyrell here. Let me, show me a negative before I show you a positive. So I just want to share something with y'all. And if you know the answer, please don't blurt it out. Let me try and get this up here and make this so it won't focus on me, but will focus on what I'm holding. So let's tabletop. You gonna focus there, guy? Okay. Come on. Come on, bring it in. Sorry, I'm trying to get the autofocus to set. Okay, this is a miniature I painted. I painted it in haste. I have many of you waking up. Yeah, no kidding. I painted it in haste. It and two others of just the same size, I painted in about 35 or 40 minutes. Here's another mini that I painted in haste. Now, I want to point out, it didn't show up well on the camera. Thank you, Jack. I'll have to remember that. It didn't show up too well on the camera because of my face. But this is generally pretty well shaded. It's pretty well shaded. The low areas are filled in, the high areas are highlighted, which for a speed paint is about all you can ask for. This, likewise, is a speed painted miniature. And it's not bad. The shading is deep. But it's not great. Come on. Is it my finger? There we go. And finally, here's a miniature that was likewise painted quickly, as were the other two. And this is basically a Type 4 demon converted into a Lamia noble by not attaching her arms. And I'll turn her around. You can see her front. I don't think YouTube is going to pick up on the fact that she's naked from the waist up. Okay. Focus is not playing very nice with that. So, here's the thing. I painted this manticore. In with its friends in about 20 minutes or so. And I painted this months ago. This is one of the trio that is in S2 at the bottom of the ziggurat. Base coated with some browns, did some dark brown for the bones. Oh, my webcam isn't on. Did some dark brown for the ribs of the wings there. Washed it in brown ink, came back with a lighter brown, highlighted everything, and then did a white dry brush highlight on top of that after it had dried. And I had them sitting in front of my little muffin fan that would dry them off. And I knocked them out in about 20 minutes. This mini and this mini I painted today with Army Painter speed paints. And I am completely disappointed and my day is ruined. The Army Painter speed paints did not function as advertised. Yes, they pulled up in places, but that's about it. The one thing I'll give them is they don't have a lot of paint elasticity. So, like, if you take a bottle of paint, just anybody's paint, Vallejo, Reaper, GW, anybody's paint, and you just dip the brush in the pot or sputch some out onto your paper and wipe it, you can see the paint almost kind of act like a rubber band a little bit. There's not a lot of that. There's not a lot of that in really good paints. So I'll give it that. But this whole, it's self-highlighting and you only have to do one coat. All of these Army Painter speed paints have shown me is that they behave like moderately thinned paint. Yes, they pulled up in cracks, but that's about it. There is streaking There is watermarking, by which I mean, like, as the paint dries, like, if you leave water, like, out of your faucet, you leave water in a bowl and it evaporates slowly, you'll see, like, rings where the water kind of went down and left some sediment behind. Now, I'm not a great painter. Like, there's no golden demon paint jobs over here. But honestly, if I had bought this, I would feel supremely disappointed. And I am disappointed because I want to be able to blast through. I have 3-foot armatures of Kobold and Goblin miniatures, metal ones, that I would really like to get painted up. And I was hoping that the army painter paints would do it. Fortunately, I do know some speed painting methods. I've just been exceptionally lazy. But in using my own speed painting methods with these, it was moderately faster. It was moderately slower than painting on these two, just as an example, just to test them out. Maybe I got a bad batch. Maybe it needs to be thinned. But I did, and I've seen people's paint jobs where they take it and it seeps into the cracks and the highlights pop. That was not my experience. There are 2 paints included in this set. Let me continue on ranting about this. There are 2 paints included in this set: Hardened Leather and Crusader Skin. Now, let me show you something here. Let me show you this. I'll put this right here. Hopefully it doesn't wash out completely. Crusader Skin and Hardened Leather. They look pretty contrasty, right? They're not. They are not. Crusader Skin, if you look at her here, I'm not sure if that will show up. Her belt and her skin are almost exactly the same color. And look at her skin. I don't mind a mini with darker skin, but that's not what's on the bottle, and that's not what I was expecting to come out of it. And setting aside that, look at the blotch there. That didn't flow. That didn't settle, and it settled into crevasses, but it just looks muddy. It just looks muddy. She looks like she's from rock and roll. Is it the big hair? So I don't know what to tell you guys, but my initial impression is not favorable with these Army Painter speed paints. I can do better by taking just a little bit more time and still be considered speed painting. Luke from Luke APS, if you check out his videos on YouTube, has a tutorial where he takes like 45 minutes and paints 40 kobolds. And he does it with Army Painter paints. He like starts with a rattle can base coat and just airbrushes some other bits. And honestly, I would rather use that if that's how these are. I don't know. Maybe you use the speed paints or the contrast paints and you get amazing results. And I've seen pictures of people with amazing results, you know? And if somebody clapped back at me and said, "Hey, it's not us, it's you," I get it. But I just had shit results today when I tried those paints, and I don't agree that these are a great product. At least not for me, they're not. I mean, I got an okay large brush in the set, but I mean, I have plenty of brushes. Who can afford once upon a time when you could buy a box of 5 metal kobolds from Reaper for $9. And now it's like $6.99 for 5 plastic ones, but anyway, I just wanted to kind of unburden about that because I'm super disappointed. I was really looking forward to saying, oh my gosh, wow, yeah, I'm just gonna go through my whole line of kobolds and goblins and be done, and yay, that'll be wonderful. But based on my experience, I can't recommend Army Painter speed paints. Honestly, I would recommend, if you're gonna, even if you just want to quickie paint miniatures, look up speed painting techniques on YouTube and learn how to speed paint with proper miniature paints. And unfortunately, these don't play nice with regular paints. They don't. Brushed on just Reaper and presumably even other Army Painter paints, GW paints and whatnot, etc. You don't get you don't get paints that you can mix with other things. They only work with themselves, and they have a reactivation problem. It's like blah blah blah. Okay, paint. Oh, I kicked my cup over. I got to set this down and answer the phone. Whatever. You come back and you keep painting, and you hit the places you've already painted. Well, guess what? The places you've already painted are now going to start streaking and wiping away, which is a danger with all paints, but with these, it seems particularly endemic. Who the Foxtrot can afford 40 kobolds? Well, I can. Like I said, back in the day. Yeah, anything you see that I brag about is all very pre-2010s. And also greetings, sire. So, I don't know. I mean, those 2 minis are probably for the simple green. And I'll paint them properly. And I don't know what I'll do with that speed paint set. Are any of you out there using the speed paints and having like great luck? Did you encounter the problems that I had? And you're like, oh no, he just needs to, immanentize the Eschaton and then everything will be fine. Well, let me know in the comments or in the discussion or on the Discord. But yeah, I did not have a good experience with them, and I would rather paint with my own paints. Send it to you and you'll try it. I can afford gaming stuff. Yeah, well, no, I gotta feed the family. What doesn't make us strong is missing a house payment. I may, Bo. I might, just to see, because if I send it to you and you're like, oh yeah, hell, I'm not having any problems with this at all. Well, then I know it was me, and you send it back. Oh, hey Tonka, how are you? So, yeah, Army Painter speed paints, very disappointing product. Do not recommend. I am 100% willing to rescind this if there is some special thing, like you didn't hold the brush at the 12 o'clock position, Bill. You gotta turn the brush so the brush logo is pointing straight up. then tell me about it. But for the time being, I mean, and I will tell you guys, speed painting is easy. You go with a darker base coat. You ink. Well, you base coat, you let dry. You ink. You do a highlight. If you're in a hurry, you're done. If you want to put a little bit more highlight on it, you can do the next step up in paint out of your triad. And if you really want to be fancy speed painter, you can do a white highlight on top of that. 3 of these in less than an hour. And they look fine on camera and great on the tabletop and way better than this mess. So I hope I didn't step on anyone's toes. I hope I didn't step on anyone's toes. Something I didn't do this weekend that I had intended to, but this weekend got a little busy. Look, last week at this, those of you who were at the in the audience last week, you know, it was kind of a nadir for me, and I'm not going to revisit it. You know what went on, if you know what went on. But I didn't get to the outro that I intended to do that has Owlbear written by my buddy Bob Antone to make a nice outro for the show. I'm going to shoot some B-roll and I'm going to make the outro, and I may not get it done till this weekend, which means you guys won't see it till next week, but I will do my darndest to get it done. It occurred to me tonight when I was sitting down. So, crap, I never shot the son of a... Okay. So I apologize if you were waiting to see the outro. It will just... Tonight it'll just be bye, and then me sitting there awkwardly waiting for StreamYard to go, "You are done. Please leave us some feedback." Like, look, bitches, I pay you guys. Could you, like, take that feedback card away? There's not an option to opt out. How can we make this better? I don't know. Give it to me for free for a year. Give me 4K. You know? Lord. But anyway, yeah, so outro is coming soon. How long did it take me to get the intro done after the guys at Bards of Greyhawk made that beautiful piece of music, right? So anyway, that's about what I've got, but I do want to take a minute, and I do this if you're new to the show, if you're like, you know, so he just ends it. No, I do want to take a minute, and I want to thank those of you who contribute on a monthly basis to the continuing success of the show from a monetary standpoint. You literally help keep the lights on, guys. Sometimes that means I'm paying part of the electrical bill, not just I'm getting nice studio lights. Not that these are that nice, but you know, I don't look like I'm suffering from some kind of liver failure because I'm sitting under a single LED bulb fixed in a beat up ceiling fan fixture up above me. So let me thank Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien247, James F. Keck, William Smith, The Dungeon Minister, Manny Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer, Rob Bleepulus, Jeremy Rule. Jeremy, we haven't seen you in a while. Stop by and say hello. Let us know you're doing all right. Bo Ganora, Mikey Mank, The Sky Hernstrom, and Pete Sullivan. Thank you all so very much for helping out around here. It is always greatly appreciated. But remember, folks, a subscribe, a bell icon for notifications, and a like, or even a dislike, and a comment. That helps. That helps. So I do appreciate it. Tomorrow night, we'll be back with some preamble prattle. We'll unbox a little bit more. We'll look at some more stuff. I am looking at across a sea of RPG materials on this table. And then there's like 2 stacks underneath here. There's a tote out in my den that has more in it. It's crazy. So it's nuts. It's nuts, the stuff I've got to go through. And a lot of it, I don't even know what it is. I'm like, what did you buy? What did you buy, Volcano God? So yeah, so thank you all for stopping by. And I got a few good ideas from some of your comments today. And we'll just proceed apace. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.